our sergeant at arms today, protecting us from radicals and whatever, or Todd Batchelor and Martha Parrish. So don't get out of hand, because these people are waiting for someone to take out their frustrations on. The sole intent of this bill is to take the two separate sections of our statutes that deal with emergency management, and for simplicity's sake, merge them into one place, so there's one-stop shopping for your county emergency management folks or anyone else playing in that field to go and get the information they need. Now, that's easier said than done, and as we've attempted to do that, we've had to deal with some ambiguities and clarify them. So the intent of the bill is to be purely technical. There are a few things that go beyond just the purely technical nature of it just a little bit, and Mr. Chairman, I think staff will elaborate on that. I would also like to say again to the committee what I said last week, which is this bill is about 90% there. It's not 100% yet. There's absolutely no opposition to it. Everyone agrees in the end goal, and we all agree that it needs just a little bit more work.
All disasters are either declared or they're issued, you issue a declaration. Previously, people would get hung up on whether they had to issue a declaration or a proclamation. So again, there's some uniformity in the term and the use of declaration. A big portion that did change to make the two consistent was that under existing law, when a local government either cannot or does not act to deal with a local state of emergency, the governor is authorized to step in and declare a state of emergency and move things forward. To put this in a centralized form, we have created a new label for this type of disaster and called it a Type L disaster. And again, it's similar provisions, but it's just the governor can declare a Type L disaster in addition to a Type 1, 2, or 3 disaster. Other changes deal with once a state of emergency is declared, a declaration of the type of disaster is not required prior to the exercise of emergency management powers. So that it makes it clear that emergency management doesn't have to wait until the level of disaster has been determined to go ahead and put people in the field and to act. Other new language is rewriting the local provisions. The governing body, as well as the mayor or the county commissioner, may make a declaration. It clarifies that particular thing, so it's not just leaving it in the hands of the mayor. This is pretty much implied in the existing law, but it is now clarified. They create an emergency area for a state of emergency. There's a specific geographical area, and for local emergencies, it's the default area is where the municipal or the county has jurisdiction to enact an ordinances or exercise its police power. There are provisions that are consistent now that allow the county to have municipal ordinances extended into the county and vice versa. Another thing that we tried to make clear in the new language is that officials do not need to impose all the restrictions and prohibitions allowed by an ordinance, but can choose those particular parts of the ordinances which are applicable to the particular state of emergency. So instead of just going with a blanket-wide, nobody can move, the local governments are free to sort of tailor the remedy to the individual situation.
We're talking about ordinances to prohibit or restrict possession, use, transportation of dangerous weapons, as defined in 14.288.1. What are those dangerous weapons, and specifically, what, if anything, does this change regarding the governor or local authorities' ability to restrict possession or transportation of guns during emergencies?
This does not change the authority of anybody to deal with these things. It's simply recodifies them. And I apologize off the top of my head, I can't give you a specific definition of what is considered a dangerous weapon.
To the extent that it doesn't change it, could you tell me what exactly, how extensive is the authority in that regard as it relates to possession and transportation of weapons such as guns that otherwise might be legally in possession of somebody?
As I understand it, in a state of emergency, that once it's been declared, the local government ordinance can ban people outside of their homes or of their property from possessing, transporting a firearm.
Representative Martin has the definition of dangerous weapon.
Representative Blackwell, dangerous weapon or substance is defined in 14-288.1 as any deadly weapon, ammunition, explosive, incendiary device, radioactive material, or device is defined in GS 14-288.8 C5, or any instrument or substance designed for use that carries a threat of serious bodily injury or destruction of property, or any instrument or substance that is capable of being used to inflict serious bodily injury when the circumstances indicate a probability that such instrument or substance will be so used, or any part or ingredient in any instrument or substance included above when the circumstances indicate a probability that such part or ingredient will be so used.
To address your question about the guns and restriction of weapons, the intent of that is to restrict weapons within the impacted area so that we don't have criminal activity that runs amok in the impacted areas. People are evacuated and are trying to restore life back to normal. It was never intended, I know there's been an issue in the past with restricting hunters from hunting in other parts of the state who are not impacted by the disaster itself.
Yes, Representative Martin. And Representative Blackwell, just to clarify, I think I'm correct in saying that your comments are about the existing law and would apply to our recodification of existing law and are not applying to any changes that we're making.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public who'd like to address the committee concerning this bill? Any more questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman,
Representative Daughtry.
I'd like to make a motion at the appropriate time.
You're recognized for that motion.
Give House Bill 843 a favorable report.
Representative Daughtry has moved to give House Bill 843 a favorable report. Is there any discussion or debate concerning that motion? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 843 is given a favorable report. Representative Martin, you'll handle this on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee and Representative Daughtry. Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'd like to thank Ms. Riley and Ben Stanley who did all the work on this.
Thank you.